Welcome. We had a little tough technical difficulties, but we're here. We're here. So you go ahead and if you would share, like, let us know that you're here. Let us know that you are excited about the after party. After the sermon, it's the after party. So what we're here to do, guys, is that on every Monday at 6:30, we're going to be here right here at the lounge where we discuss what we talked about at yesterday's service. So yesterday's service we talked about harmony. Pastor came from Mark 5. Verse 35 through 43, we talked about how important it is to align yourself, and not only yourself, align everyone around you, your surroundings, your environment, the people around you, to be in alignment with what you're asking or petitioning God for. And so we're going to dive into that and talk about what does that look like in today's time? What does that look like, and how we can apply that on today so we be able to grow together in this Savage Faith series in 2022. All right. Pastor, do you want to say anything before we dive in?
No, listen, I don't want things to get lost in a message or lost in a sermon, and we talked about that. That's why I thought it was important, because some of the things that we say sometimes, it feel good, it sound good, but we don't really know how to apply. Right. So hopefully in these conversations we kind of dig into applying some of this so we can get the results.
Yes, absolutely. So real quickly, guys, because the verse that he pulled from yesterday was phenomenal. So I'm going to read it to you, like the word says, and then I'm going to put a little twist on it so you'll be able to correlate and follow with us what's going on right now in today's time, so you'll be able to relate. So Mark 5:35 says, while Jesus was still speaking, some people came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. Your daughter is dead, they said. Why bother the teacher anymore? Overhearing what they said, Jesus told them, don't be afraid, just believe. So the twist I'm going to put on it to apply to today's time is while Jesus was still speaking from people that came to the house, just come and chill. And he overheard someone say, your vision is dead. Your dream is dead. Your passion is dead. And they said, why even bother God with this little mess? Why even come to him about something that we know that's not working, right? And then overhearing that, Jesus came to you and said, don't be afraid, just believe. So not God.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes like it's talking to pastors, it's kind of like talking to God. So reading a little bit further in today, he said he did not let anyone else follow him except Peter, James, and John. And so in reading that passage, how important it is to make sure that the people around you are in alignment for what you're praying for, what you're believing for, what your vision is. Because like in the passage, sometimes people get in the way and say, hey, that's dead. Why are you still bothered with that? Why are you still believing in that? Why are you still going after that thing? But why is it so important to make sure that we have a solid three or a solid camp around us to make sure that we're in alignment and in harmony with God has told us that it's going to come to pass?
Well, one thing you said that I thought was real good, and we talked about it in the message yesterday, and I liked how you put that it was their dream or their vision, because we have people that we talk to that tell us what we're trying to do is not going to work. Right. Man, my brother tried that, it didn't work. Man, it don't sound like it right for our city. And we'll take that and we'll lose our confidence. And that was this man going to Jesus because he lost his confidence because he just left a house full of people telling him to give up. And so even when he got the confidence of the strength to come to Jesus or come to church or go seek counseling, he's trying to get some help with what other people say is not working. And while he's trying to get some help, here they come again saying, why are you doing that? It's dead. Why are you going to a therapist? That stuff ain't gonna work. Why are you going to church? That folk don't want nothing but your money. And even when you trying to get the help you need, the same people who made you have to go get some help, now telling you your help ain't even gonna help. And Jesus said, look, don't listen to them. Your dream is not dead. In this case, Jerry, your daughter's not dead, but sometimes you just need somebody to come into agreement and say, it ain't over. I don't know what you're trying to do, but I have to remind you that people thought Steve Jobs was crazy.
Right.
I have to remind you that Tyler Perry was homeless. I have to remind you that Steve Harvey was sleeping in his car. And many people walk past them saying it's not going to work the same way they talk to Jairus. But each of these people stuck with the dream in their heart until somebody came into agreement with Steve Jobs. It was Woz. Woz said, hey, bro, this can work. If it's Tyler Perry, it was all the actors that work with him. They said, hey man, this can work. If it was Steve Harvey, he ran into his situation. We found out it would work. And sometimes just somebody else believing gives you the strength to go forward with what you're doing.
Yes, that is so good. That is so good. So, and we get so caught up in we're not understanding that the people around you is what's preventing you from getting to your next.
Right.
And so we have to be really mindful of that. If it's any discord, if it's any opposition that you're facing with your family, with your friends, or your support system, whoever, you have to kind of separate yourself from them for a moment, for a while, until you can continue working on what you know God has set forth for you to do. So that was really, really good, because people need to understand it's so important. The reason why he always had Peter, James, and John with him. He said yesterday, when he wanted something done, he knew who to call on. He was like, hey, y'all go ahead and lead, and let the folks who understand, who really believe, the savage faith believers, let them in the room so we can go ahead and be in agreement.
And to what you're saying, this is, people say, I've heard them say it to leaders, they've heard it say it to pastors, but they'll say, they just want a bunch of yes people around them. No, you don't. You just don't want a bunch of no people around you. You want some people to ask questions and say, have you tried this? Have you thought of this? You want feedback, but you don't want people that anytime you come up with something that surpasses the limitations they set for themselves, they tell you it won't work for you. And that was these people. They never loved anything like Jairus loved his daughter. He was, nope, I love this thing too much. I can't give up this easy. If it's dead, I'll deal with that. But I want to know I exhausted all of my options. And guess what? Jesus was his yes man. Jesus said, if you believe that strong, if you got it that much in your heart, that thing ain't dead yet. We can bring that back to life. And so Jesus, even knowing how difficult people can be, he said, I'm going to help you. But he had Peter, James, and John come with him. Everybody else, y'all stay on the porch. Y'all gonna play on the monkey bars, ride the slide. But these three dudes here are crazy like me. If you're gonna do something that challenges the limits, you don't need people saying, are you sure about this, Jesus? I remember my auntie tried it when she was 22 and it did. No, I need some people that say, if you believe it, I've seen the work you've done. I know your work ethic. I know your heart. I know how you are. If you believe it, I'm with you. We gonna ride or die together. You need some people that's willing to try that crazy stuff with you because you have a track record of accomplishing or finishing what you started.
You gave us 3 points yesterday for harmony. One of the points was coming into harmony with yourself. It's so important to be free and not creating a different version of yourself to serve God. So many times when we come as a new creature in faith, it can kind of get confusing for those around you if they're not on board with what's going on and what's happening right now in your life. And so sometimes you feel like you have to be this, you have to have this persona when you over here or have that persona over there. But it's not until you come into full totality of who you are and get comfortable with that, that's when God starts to open up and start hearing you. You want to touch on that real quick?
Oh, absolutely. It's important that you operate in your authenticity because you want people to love who you are and not who you are pretending to be. And see, sometimes, even in our church environments, I think the church is healthy. We should forsake not the fellowship of the believers. But sometimes in our church environment, we think you're not saved unless you do it like us. If we speak in tongues, you better hurry up and speak in tongues. If we run and shout, you better hurry up and run and shout. If we dress like this, you better hurry up and dress like this. And it'll have you questioning yourself. And to be accepted, you'll do things that are not even in your natural proclivities to fit in. And next thing you know, God called you for who you are, but now he can't do the work because you're pretending to be somebody else. I mean, you even talk about Abraham and Sarah in the Bible. Because the Bible said, be fruitful and multiply, they created an atmosphere where if a woman couldn't have kids, something was wrong with her. So God already promised Sarah a child, but she wanted people to accept her. So she said, hey, God, come here. I want you to have our child. That ain't what God said. But she was so eager to fit in, she birthed Ishmael, which to this day, the children of Israel and the children of Ishmael are still fighting against each other today because of one person trying to hurry up and do something to prove something to people instead of waiting on God. What fights are you creating in your life because you're trying to impress people? God told you to do it this way, but you're trying to fit in, so you did it that way. And all of the stuff I said, just like the Bible says, be fruitful and multiply, that was God's word. So speaking in tongues, that is of God. Shouting, your excitement, your zeal, all of that is of God. But if you're doing it so you can fit in with the clique, it is no longer ordained or holy unto God. What we do is unto him. He said everything in him is yes and amen. But you doing it for other people, that's some shaky stuff right there.
Man, it is. Don't rush the process. Don't rush the process, man. Your second point in harmony was to be in harmony with your environment. Be mindful of what you said you want and aligning yourself and surrounding yourself with it so you don't kill your witness. That touched on it so bad yesterday. So you correlated this when Jesus turned water into wine. So dive into that a bit more as far as how important it is to not kill your witness, because we sometimes hold on to things a little longer than we should, or we stay in environments a little longer than we should because we're trying to be loyal, or we are trying to stay down for those who may came up with us, whatever the case may be. But we don't know that it's messing up your brand, it's messing up your identity in Christ, which you're trying to create something new, and you're holding on to past things and old things is ruin the witness that will help them get to the next level as well. So touch on that real quick.
Absolutely. The best example I can give in today's language is two of my favorite basketball players, Allen Iverson and LeBron James. Both of them extremely talented. I mean, generational talents will change the whole game. But Allen Iverson kept hanging with people that didn't play basketball, didn't care about basketball. He'll go to his game, hoop, score 40 points, and then go hang with some dudes who want to smoke and drink and gamble and run the street. Now, it was cool wearing the cornrows and the tattoos and all of that while you're on the court killing it. But then you go on hanging with the dudes who look like you and act like you but don't want what you want. So,
what's from it?
Yeah, oh, exactly. And so Allen Iverson ended up getting caught up, didn't want to go to practice, didn't play as hard. He could have went down as one of the greatest players in history, but his career was cut short because of who he was aligned with, LeBron James. He has been aligned with the right people his whole career. All his partners wanted what he wanted. They said, LeBron, we believe in you. If you eat, we gonna eat. So we gonna be on the track with you. So he took care of his body. He invested in his body. He invested in his skill. Here he is, 19 years later, and he's still the second highest scoring player in the NBA. That's how your circle is. When you hang with people who don't care about what's most important to you, you drift away from it. You'll be led astray. And next thing you know, especially if you're trying to hold yourself in a certain light, but you keep hanging with people with a bad reputation, you may not even do what they do, but because you're connected with them, people see you like they see them. If you hang with a bunch of people that's not worthy of respect, people not going to respect you. But you have to, if you really want something, you have to align yourself with people that want the same thing, or it's going to take longer than it has to, it's not going to work, or it's going to be tainted when you get there. You have to focus. If you want to get out of a situation, if you're desperate trying to get out of a situation, you got to hang with people who want to get out of the situation too. Because if not, they like it there and they need company. When you get almost out, they're going to pull you back into it. So you have to come alignment. The music you listen to, the TV shows you watch, what you talk about, sticky notes reminding you of what your dream is. You have to keep everything around you in agreement with what you said you wanted, or there'll be discord and it'll take longer than it have to, or it won't work at all.
Yes, man, that was so good. And I'm gonna touch on real quickly one of the final points that you made in yesterday's message was harmony. And now I encourage you guys to read Mark 5:35-43. Read it and like it is in the Bible, but also to take some bits and pieces out of it and apply yourself in it, apply your vision, apply your goal, your passion in it. Because when you see it that way, then everything in this everything will come to you, and you will see how important it is to get into alignment and get in harmony. But you said something so powerful yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and go all the way down to verse 39. He went in and said to them, "Why all this commotion and wailing? The child is not dead, but asleep." But they laughed at him. After he put them all out, he took the child's father and mother and the disciples who were with him, and went in where the child was. He took her by the hand and said to her, "Talitha kum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Immediately the girl stood up and began to walk around. She was 12 years old.
Yeah.
At this, they were completely astonished. He gave strict orders not to let anyone know about this, and told them to go give her something to eat. Now, when I push this back around to what's going on right now, I hear him saying, "Talitha kum, get up.
Get up.
Don't worry about what they're saying. Your vision is not dead. Get up." And when you do, and now that when everybody do see your vision is up, when everybody see your vision come to pass, when everybody see your passion and your goals come into fruition, I don't want you to tell nobody about it. Let it speak for itself.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about trying to announce what God did for you, what Jesus touched you, or what He said to you. Just let it speak for itself, and let it not turn your heart cold. For those who did not believe, now that they see, just let it speak for itself. So, if you would, please touch on that real quickly as we wrap this up, as far as how important harmony is right now in this Savage Faith season.
Yeah. After we saw Jesus in agreement with Himself.
Mm-hmm.
Then He got into agreement with the people around Him, Peter, James, and John, and the man that wanted it.
Right.
When He got to the house and He saw people having pity parties, talking about what's not going to work, He told everybody, get out of here.
Get out.
Because, first of all, I have to come into agreement with myself.
Right.
I have to come into agreement around me. Then I have to come into agreement with what God is able to do. A godly dream is bigger than your capabilities. Mm-hmm. And it's going to take Him to work. And one of the reasons I feel like He had everybody go out of the room is because sometimes in our process, we don't want people to know how hard the struggle is. Mm-hmm. So we'll pretend we're more successful than we really are instead of working on being successful. We'll want to post it before it's time. We want to prove something to people. But Jesus told them, don't say anything. When the little girl get up, she going to speak for herself. Absolutely. You ain't going to have to tell them, see, I told y'all my dream was a lie. See, I told y'all I was going to make it. No, the dream is going to be there, walking around. In due season, it shall speak for itself. The vision is for an appointed time. And though it tarries, wait for it, because in the end, it's going to speak for itself. Stop trying to prove stuff to people. Stop trying to convince them it's coming. Stop trying to pretend or seem like you're somewhere that you're not. Be where you are. And when it's time, you're not going to, you think anybody got to tell you Tyler Perry's successful? Mm-mm. His movies everywhere, his stage plays everywhere, his TV shows everywhere. When the vision happened, it speaks for itself. You don't have to speak for your vision.
And real quickly, because we only got a few more moments before we shut off, speak on not turning your heart cold. You mentioned Noah's Ark and how when they saw it all coming together and it almost completed, how many people may have saw that, wanted to say, hey, you know what? I doubted this. I talked real bad about this. Now that I see that it's working, I'm sorry, man. How can I be a part of this? How can I turn this thing around? Is it too late for me? But sometimes we live proud in a way.
That's
so
right.
Talk about that real quickly, and then we'll wrap it up. And guys, I'm telling you guys are missing a whole lot on Sunday mornings, and I want you guys to be engaged with us on Monday evenings when we talk about the service, the sermon, and how we can apply it to what's going on right now in our lives.
Yeah, what I was talking about is when your vision begins to speak, it gives people opportunity to come be a part of it. When God said, I'll prepare the table in front of your enemies, it's not so you can look at your enemy and say, nah, look what I got. He's saying, if they humble themselves, they can eat from the table I prepared for you. So you can't let your heart be cold and be grudgeful and vengeful and bragging, because now your heart has become what your enemy is. And I talked about how when Noah was almost done with the boat, now I can understand them laughing at him when he first started out, but when he was almost done with the boat, I wonder how many people saw it and was like, Noah owned to something. But they were too prideful to come say, man, Noah, I had it wrong about you, man. You did that. Hey, man, you mind if me and my family come along? And people pride will let them and their families suffer because they don't want to admit they got it wrong. They know all the stuff they said about you. They whispered about you. They talked about your friend. Talked about you with their friends. And now they can't show the support they want to show because they have to swallow their pride and tell their friend, I know I talked about him, but dude on to something. I know I talked about her, but I was wrong. So you can come and apologize, and when the table is prepared, you can eat from it. But your heart has to be clean enough to say, back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me. You can't say that. You got to say, it is not God's will that anyone should perish, but all come into a knowledge of the truth. That's why he said, don't say nothing. Let the vision speak for itself. And if I be lifted up, then I'll start drawing men unto me. So.
Man, that was good. Man, that was good. Guys, I'm telling you guys, you got to be with us. We welcome you to worship with us on Sundays at 10:30 here at One Accord, 4741 Winchester Road, 38118, because I got that wrong last time.
Yeah.
But guys, we welcome you to join us. If you would like, share, comment. If you have any questions after you watch this live, still have your questions to Pastor. He will answer it to you, and just to get us a better understanding. So we'll keep this thing going. We welcome you. Thank you for joining us and viewing the after party. After the sermon, it's the after party. We will see you guys next Monday at 6:30.
Love you guys.